Welcome to Josh's Green Garage. So in this video, I have here the 54-inch plow with the extensions for it. These are 9-inch extensions, gives you a total of 72-inch plow blade. So pretty cool, but there's one problem. The design of these things sounds really cool, and I thought it was really cool when I first opened it. Once I put it on the tractor, once I put it on the plow blade though, fasten the top down, I ended up with this nice gap you can see here. And it's really annoying. It doesn't fit in there very solid. It moves around. So I'm going to try to fix that. Let's jump into it. Before we get started, I just want to give a quick reminder that I now have a Facebook page for the channel. So if you like this channel, please go ahead, check out the Facebook page. Maybe like that. I'll be posting sneak peeks of whatever I do on there. Just any random things that I get into. I also have links on there to my eBay page, so please feel free to check that out. So before I go over my fix for this blade gapping issue, I want to show a method that one of my viewers used to fix their plow. They sent this to me after my initial post about that plow, saying how I had the extensions, or during the installation of the extensions, and I was complaining about the gapping. They told me that they had an issue and how simple it was, and I was like, all right, send me pictures. And at this point I had already repaired mine by the time I got that video out. But anyway, their method here, you can see, is much simpler. And I'm honestly going to recommend it before you try mine. It takes a lot less fabrication work and stuff like that. So it's pretty much just a bar. They used a 5/8 bar. You could probably go a little bit smaller if you wanted. You're going to have to get a pretty good sized tap to tap 5/8. But essentially you can see there, the bar will span the whole width of the plow blade. And then you can see close up here one end, they just took a washer for that and welded it on the end. You could thread that end and use a nylon nut or something to that effect. And then just back it up with a washer or whatever. And then the other end here, you can see they threaded it, put a nut on there, and then to where it's tightened down and held to the blade, they just drilled a hole, put a pin through it. That way the nut won't back off or anything. It'll keep its tension. So I like this. It kind of helps reinforce the whole way across. I honestly didn't realize that this plow would go straight through like that. And I feel dumb for not, figuring this idea out first. But here you can see it on the plow then when it's completed. That one end just sits flush against the edge there. The other one just tightens right down. You could put, some rubber washers in there if you wanted to let it be able to have a little bit of flex in there. However you'd want to do it, this will work out really good. I'm going to kind of spoil my whole video now and just show you what my fix looked like after a little bit of use, actually. And honestly, I probably wouldn't recommend it. If I had this all to do all over, I would have done this other more simple method. In the end, I think it's going to be a lot stronger. You can see mine, that little gussets on the back of the plow, they're a little bit bent just from the pressure that you gotta put on this, which I put some lock washers on there. So by the time you got enough torque on that bolt in order to compress those washers, it started bending that gusset some. It just, in my head, it was a good idea. And then when it actually came to the thing working, I mean, it works, don't get me wrong, but it was a lot more involved than it really needed to be. So, definitely go with the first method I showed here. If you want to continue watching, go for it. I took the video, so I figured I might as well make the video and put it out. But yeah, I think that first method is a lot better. The design of these actually is kind of cool. Like, it's a neat, simple idea. There's
this piece of metal that goes through, and then it slides into this section of angle iron that's on the plow blade. And you know, that essentially gives you the strength there holding that edge of the blade. And then up top, of course, you just have the 2 bolts you got to drill holes for, fasten it, and you're good to go. So really, it's just hold on by 2 bolts, but it's plenty strong. You know, it sounds great, but then, you know, I put this side on and it just, all that movement that's in there, I don't like it one bit. So I wish they would have done something along here to, you know, actually bolt this fast. So whether that be have something in this area or on the back of the actual mold board from the factory blade to, you know, drill another hole or bolt something on here. You know, you have holes along here. This one, unfortunately, is in a bad place. It's a little bit low because like if you could just weld a nut right on there and then use that hole, you know, you could put a bolt right through there and that would be perfect. But there's nothing for that. This piece of steel at this angle is really thick. That's probably, thicker than a quarter easily. That's some thick steel there. So drilling through that with anything sizable would kind of be a pain. Like if they were to have like something that you would bolt into that extension, I don't know. There could have been a bunch of things they could have done though to make it better. So what I'm gonna do is I have a piece of steel here, and this angle from something else that I've cut before is actually about where I'm gonna need to be. But I'm just gonna, I hate to do it, sand off some of this paint, and then I will weld on a piece of steel there. I will put a hole in it, a 3/8 hole, and then I'll, you know, transfer that hole onto this, drill a 3/8 hole in that, and then I'll be able to put a bolt and nut through there, you know, fastening all that together. And that'll be able to draw this down, and then it'll be, you know, plenty solid. I don't think that'll move at all. I was gonna weld the actual scraper blade on the front. I was just gonna put a couple tacks in it in case I wanted to get it apart. Then I could, you know, easily cut it, but the tacks would have at least held this portion of it together. Reason I didn't is it would be a pain in the butt if I wanted to just take the extension off real quick for whatever reason. Then I'd have to cut it. I'd have to re-weld it at some point. This way it'll be removable, and as long as I take my time here, it'll look good. So yeah, I'm gonna get started. So as I stated before, we're gonna have this piece right on the edge here like so. I unfortunately can't use this bottom hole. I'd have to upsize it quite a bit in order to do anything on the actual plow blade side of it. So I'm not gonna bother upsizing that or doing anything extra with it. I'm just gonna cut a new hole up here somewhere. So if we put that on there, we'll bring this up to, we'll say there. Somewhere in there. I'll probably cut it off there, or I'll cut another angle to match this downward. Probably figure bring it out to back here somewhere. So I'll probably cut that angle, and then I'll cut another piece like that, and this will kind of get rounded off, and we'll have our hole probably somewhere in here. We'll see. This is going to be a major guess and check kind of build. All right, here is my finished piece for one side. Got the 3/8 hole there. It'll set on there nicely. So I just got to make another one like this. Then I can start prepping everything to weld these on. Here's my two pieces. So now I'm going to take off this extension. I'm gonna sand a little bit of paint off right there, all on each side, and then weld these on. After that, we'll back drill into the extension, paint it, and then we'll be good to go. Conveniently, during this small project, I ran out of wire. A whole like 4 inches of weld. But luckily the wife was in town, so she was able to grab me another roll. And we'll get back to it. And there you can see my pieces welded on. Not the prettiest welds on the inside, but they'll do. So next I'm going to put my extensions back on, bolt them on up there, and then I'll try to get the extension in place best I can each side, and then see if I can get a mark in there and back drill them. So not sure if I can get an actual drill in there because of that little foot or whatever being in the way, but I'm just gonna put this bit through here, spin it a few times, that'll at least give me a mark in the paint there, and I can use that to drill off of. So I'll do the other side, then I'll get drilling. So this is the 3/8 hole. I'm gonna up this to a 25/64. This is just the next size up. These don't have to fit the bolt perfectly. They're just there to tighten the whole thing down. So, and even if I have to, I might move it up to the next size, 13/32, just to give the bolt a little extra room. But that bit drills a really nice upsized hole in there. So should be good to go. I'll do the other side and then we'll test this thing out. And this is essentially the setup of how it'll be when it's all finished. You can see it close that gap up almost completely. The only reason there's any little sliver there is just because the actual blade edge on the main plow is just a hair longer. It's hanging over some, preventing that from coming all the way in. But this is exactly how I would like it to be. So, good stuff. Now I just got to get it all painted up. It's been a day and a half or so, and paint's finally dried. I feel like that part actually looks pretty good. I'm only going to show you from this side because that's a pretty decent looking weld. It'll work though. It's definitely overkill just to pull this side of the extension in, but at this point I'll be able to assemble it. So I'm gonna get this extension into place and get it all bolted down. And there we have it. Those are tightened down. We're tightened down here. And looks pretty good. Move this around a little bit, show you. We are nice and closed up now. Can't see any gap down there. I moved the scraper edge over a little bit before putting this back on. So that actually closed up all the way. So I'm a lot happier with how this looks now. And you can hardly tell I did any, I guess you'd say damage, removing the coating there and welding that on. If you look close enough, of course you'll see, but looks pretty good. So now I'll do the other side and we'll be good to go. And this is my completed modification to this plow in order to make sure those sides get drawn in and there's no awkward gap beyond my control. I would imagine this could probably be fixed if you were to get one of the one-piece scraper edges. That would probably help tie it together. There again, this literally costed me like $4, I think, for hardware. And that was using grade 8 hardware. You could definitely go cheaper with it. You may even have some on hand that you could use. So it really didn't cost me anything to do this modification, whereas it would cost me probably a couple hundred easy to try to get a new scraper edge. So that's my reasoning for going this overboard. I get it. Most people probably aren't going to want to put the time into doing all this. A lot of people probably wouldn't even care. I did. I just like the idea of it, you know, strengthening everything up, holding it together a bit better. So, yeah, now I just need enough snow to go use this thing. Still only have about enough snow currently to just kind of pack down the driveway first. I like getting a nice layer packed down before I actually go plowing. That way I'm not plowing gravel everywhere. So, yeah, that's all I got for this. Hopefully if you were looking for a fix like this, you found it. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.